I see this comment all the time. Retiring in Canada is impossible. Or, who can afford to retire anymore? And every time I read those comments, I stop and think because I understand where they're coming from. Yes, life is expensive, housing is expensive, groceries are expensive. Everything seemed to cost more than it did just a few years ago. But after living in Canada for more than 20 years, I have a different perspective. I don't believe it's impossible to retire in Canada. I believe it's impossible to retire without a plan. And today I want to share why I believe that. Not from a theory, not from something I read online, but from my own journey as an immigrant who arrived here with almost nothing. If you're new here, welcome to Retirement Curious with V. On this channel, we talk about retirement planning, government benefits, investing, and building financial confidence, especially for Canadians who want to retire with peace of mind. Today is a little more personal. So when I came to Canada, I was in my mid-20s. I already had a university degree from the Philippines. I had work experience there. I even worked in Taiwan for 3 years before immigrating here. So if you look at my resume, you would think I had already built a career. But when I landed in Canada, it felt like pressing the reset button. Everything I had built before didn't automatically transfer. My education wasn't immediately recognized. My work experience wasn't valued the same way. I had to start from zero. Actually, it felt like starting below zero. I had to prove myself all over again. Learn how things work, adapt to a completely different culture, build a new career, learn how money worked in Canada. Learn about taxes, CPP, RRSPs, TFSAs, all these terms, building my credit score, mortgages, none of that existed in my life before. It wasn't easy, but looking back now, I can honestly say Canada gave me opportunities I don't think I would have had if I had stayed in the Philippines. And for that, I'm grateful. Now let's go back to that statement. It's impossible to retire in Canada. Well, I respectfully disagree. Is retirement harder today than it was 30 years ago? Absolutely. Can you simply work until 65 and expect everything to magically work out? Probably not. The world has changed. People are living longer. Housing costs have exploded. Inflation has changed the way we spend. Healthcare costs continue to rise. Many people are helping aging parents while also supporting adult children. There's pressure everywhere. So yes, retirement requires more planning than ever before. But that's different from saying it's impossible. Those are two very different statements. Because if retirement were truly impossible, then no one would be retiring. Yet every day people retire successfully. Not because they got lucky, but because they spent years preparing for it. One thing I've learned is this: retirement is not a one-size-fits-all. One person's dream retirement is spending 6 months every year traveling the world. Someone else's dream retirement is gardening, spending time with grandchildren, and enjoying quiet mornings with coffee. Neither one is wrong. Comfort means different things to different people. That's why I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is comparing their retirement to someone else's. Instead, ask yourself, what does a happy retirement look like for me? Where do I have to live? How much do I really need? Will my mortgage be paid off? Will I travel every year? Will I work part-time because I enjoy it? Will I stay in Canada or in a different country? Or spend part of the year somewhere warmer? Once you know the answer, you can work backwards. That's called reverse engineering your retirement. Instead of guessing, you create a roadmap. Many people assume government benefits will take care of everything. But that's usually not the case. Canada has programs like CPP, old age security benefits, and for some people, the guaranteed income supplement if you are eligible. Those benefits are incredibly valuable. But they are only one part of your retirement income. You also have to think about your own savings, your workplace pension if you have one, your RRSP, and your TFSA, your investments. And here's something many people don't think about. What if you want to retire before 65? That's where planning becomes even more important because CPP can start as early as 60, but if you start early, your monthly payment is permanently reduced. Old age security usually starts at 65, so if you retire at 58 or 60, how will you pay for those years before your government benefits kicks in? That's called filling the retirement income gap. It's not impossible, but it requires preparation. That's why planning matters so much. I especially want to speak to fellow immigrants. I know many of us came here later in life. Maybe we didn't start saving in our 20s. Maybe we spent years helping family back home. Maybe we had to restart our careers. Maybe we bought a home later than everyone else. I understand because I have lived it. But don't let that convince you that it's too late. 20 years ago, I couldn't imagine where I'd be today. Not because everything went perfectly, but because I kept moving forward. One decision at a time, one paycheck at a time. I can still remember my reaction seeing my weekly pay slips with all of the deductions. I was earning $8 an hour in my first job, so you can calculate how much was left. But my survival mode was activated the moment I arrived here, so I thought, it's okay, I'll figure it out. Financial freedom isn't built overnight, it's built consistently. So if someone asks me, is it impossible to retire in Canada? My answer is simple, no. It's challenging, it requires discipline, it requires sacrifices. Sometimes it means saying no today so you can say yes tomorrow. Sometimes it means budgeting more carefully. Sometimes it means delaying gratification. Small sacrifices today can create the freedom you want tomorrow. The freedom to choose how you spend your life, the freedom to choose how you spend your time, the freedom to choose and enjoy life on your own terms, the freedom to retire with confidence instead of fear. If you're watching this today and you feel discouraged, please don't give up. Start where you are. Use what you have. Learn one thing at a time. Create a plan, because retirement isn't about being rich. It's about being prepared. Thank you so much for watching. If this video encouraged you to give you a different perspective, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Retirement Curious with V if you enjoy practical retirement planning content made for everyday Canadians. And I'd love to hear from you. Do you think retiring in Canada is impossible? Or do you think it comes down to having a plan? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.